No, I'm incapable of starting it.
Come on.
Because I don't know what to say, even though we've been doing this for months.
All right. What's up, motherfuckers? I'm Whitney Josephine with my co-host.
Mallory, what's up?
This is No Gods, No Filter. And today we have a former fuckboy on the fucking podcast.
We're going to grill him.
We're doing, he's going to probably grill us.
Yeah.
He's probably going to gaslight us and get us to fall in love with him, actually, if he's a former
Not during
fuckboy.
Pride Month. Come on.
This is our first FaceTime call in, and we have a whole ass setup. I'm
Literally
so impressed right now.
We go to Brendan. Can we just FaceTime him? And Brendan's like, yeah, you can just FaceTime him. And then there's 4 screens in front of us.
Yeah.
And we're plugged
It's
into the Matrix.
Whole fucking thing. We have former fuckboy Davey Muise from Vanna on the podcast. Well, he formerly was in Vanna. He has a new band happening. So we're going to get the details on that. We're going to talk about poly relationships and everything that goes with it. So let's get into it, bitch.
Let's do it.
Cool.
Your mother's a watertown whore.
Let me get a lighter. Just bang a fucking Yui guy.
No Gods, No Filter.
Let's go!
We did it.
Good job.
Hell yeah. All right.
That
We
was so
did it.
easy, seamless,
doing it.
and we're geniuses.
We did it so
That was
quickly.
honestly like easier than any other like interview or podcast that I've done because I don't even know the other person. At least I know you guys. you know?
Yeah, right?
Do you do this
Yeah.
often? Do you come here often? Do you do this often?
Yeah, like at the height of like Vanna shit, I was doing it like all the time.
That's so
Awesome.
cool. Is that
yeah,
how
all
y'all
the
know each
time.
other?
No, like, well, okay. Well, first, we already recorded a little intro that we'll put in with this.
Cool.
So I guess we can just start now, get into it. Dave and
Yeah.
I, like, know of each other
Ooh. Yep.
from being in the same area, right? And
Yep.
and like
Yeah.
just music scene and all of that sort of shit.
That's great.
And then
Yeah.
social media, I think, just opens the floodgates for people to actually
Yeah,
like
and
communicate.
And it helps that Whitney's like super hot. So I'm like, oh, a hot girl. I'll talk to her. Cool, yeah, for sure.
Thank you.
You ask her, you're like, hey, how's the weather over there? Like,
Yeah.
it's dumb
Yeah.
shit.
But also, like, I think in the last, like, year or so, we've connected really hard on a lot of stuff, especially being, like, Bostonians outside of Boston in a place where you're like, everyone thinks I'm a fucking asshole here, and I'm just being normal.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah,
What
yeah, I
area
think
of
so.
Massachusetts did you grow up in?
So I grew up in Melrose, Massachusetts, which is like
Damn, I
10
worked
minutes
in Melrose for a little
Did
bit.
you really?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I worked at
nice
all
ass-
connected.
nice ass town, super like I mean, it was like beautiful, like a lot of wealth there, but I wasn't wealth. My family,
Yeah.
we grew up in an apartment, you know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
Like, but yeah, no, I mean, Melrose it was a beautiful city. It still is. A little bit of like the neighborhood I live in Portland reminds me of Melrose. Like,
That's
a lot.
nice.
Well,
That's crazy.
So, yeah.
So how
Yeah.
long were you there? So you grew up there. So you like from your childhood and then just stayed there
Yeah.
forever?
Yeah, born in Boston, adopted when I was like, 1 or 2 years old, and then
Nice.
was in Melrose from then until I was 18, moved to New Hampshire. Moved to New Hampshire my senior year, which I was like, thanks, Mom. I still went to Melrose High, and it just made my life a little bit more difficult.
Damn.
And then from then it was like New Hampshire, Maine, touring around the world,
Yeah.
and then over to Oregon.
We all kind of go all over. Well, most of us, like the delinquents, Dave and I, we've like, I've lived in all these states around here.
Yeah.
So I want to talk to you about, I'm going to list a couple things.
Yeah.
I want to talk about Vanna,
Yep.
your current band,
Yep.
being a former fuckboy,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and the poly situation, because you were
Okay.
super helpful and a fucking wealth of knowledge
Yeah.
with that for me. And I think to hear a man's
Yeah.
point of view on it, but also you just the way you speak about all of this, you're like take
Yeah.
such accountability.
I think also this would be a good opportunity. I've been having a lot of conversations recently with women and men about the state of like, I've been doing a lot of like deep diving on figuring out what boys that are coming into man age, like 21 to 25 are
yeah.
like listening to. And so I've been doing this deep dive in all these podcasts and shows, and I'm fucking terrified because I'm like, oh my God, these people are super popular and they're like controlling the way that these boys are thinking. And there's like this, I don't know if you guys know this, there's like this war on men that men think is happening.
It's like the male loneliness and like everyone's, I'm a dude,
the
I'm
male
being
loneliness,
attacked.
the fragile ego. And I'm like,
Yeah.
why? Because for the first time so I'm 40. So like, listen, white men have been having it good since fucking day dot.
Exactly.
And we still have it good, but there's a pushback to grow up. Just grow. The simple answer is they just want you to grow. Women just want you to grow. And there's you're not changing me.
Yeah,
Jake Paul
yeah.
says you don't need to do, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like, and there's also this thing that's happening too with women, which I'll touch on only like what I've seen when we talk about it. But there's this inherent, like where you can go, well, yeah, but I heard this like girl in this podcast saying like, why can't women be women again and all this other stuff? And I'm like, do you understand from day one, they're beat with the patriarchy to like, that is also a result of the patriarchy being like,
completely.
oh, well, this is how it is. And it's like, it's not. And just
Right.
because a couple women say women should be in the kitchen or women should be women, men should be men, doesn't blanket the entire like
Everyone.
demographic of women saying that's what we want.
This episode of No Gods, No Filter is brought to you by Hellraiser Audio, right here in Austin, Texas. Whether you're launching a podcast or laying down tracks, Hellraiser has everything you need. From pro gear to top tier mixing, it's where chaos meets creation. We record at Hellraiser, and once you do, you'll get it. Follow the Razor Blade on Instagram and hit up Hellraiser Audio to raise hell and record here.
You found two women on a podcast that said that. You know what I mean? Like,
Not
And
these
that's
bitches.
Yeah.
No, that's why I
get
like
out
your
of the kitchen.
podcast.
Burn your kitchen. Burn the kitchen
And, like,
down.
honestly, like if you grew up and you're true to heart is like, I want to be married, I want to have kids, and I want to be a homemaker.
Just do- yeah,
That's-
do
Go
that.
for it.
That's fucking awesome. But then I guess don't really don't get involved in conversations you don't have any like reason to be involved in, and don't
Kinda
make comments.
keep it to yourself. It's kind of like how I feel about religion, especially here in Texas. It's if you're religious, great. If you go to church, that's great. If you have those morals in your family, but don't preach those like everybody should do them, because everybody can make their own choices.
I'll fight for your right. I'll fight for your right to fuck who you want, worship who you want. I'll fight for all of that as long as you're okay with me doing
Doing
fucking
the
who I
same,
want
right?
and worshiping who I don't want. Or what. You have to like live, like there's that balance, you know what I mean? Like I could totally get along with like, I have Republican friends here, you know what I mean? They're good people and we just don't kind of like agree on like a couple of these things. There's a difference between, there's also a difference between like people who are that and then people who are like, you know, like MAGA people. That's like, we're not going to agree on.
Extreme, gnarly.
We're not going to agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, but also I don't agree with extreme leftism either. I think that
Exactly.
shit's bullshit too.
Yeah.
And I wish that more people would. I think the podcast is supposed to open a dialogue, not be like a feedback loop where you're like, I'm right, I've always been right, and I'm always going to be right, because I only listen to things that I align with. Like I listen to all sorts of stuff to try to see where people are coming from. With stuff. So,
Well, also our podcast is like, don't take our advice. Our whole concept of our podcast is just like, we want it to feel like you're just having a conversation with your friends and you can relate to it, right?
Yeah. I know you don't have to think of what we're saying is true, because
I'm
we don't know
wearing
what
a
we're
Tom
saying.
of Finland shirt
Well, yeah.
with gay men fucking, and it says "fuck the police." Like, don't
listen to me.
Don't listen to me.
Like,
We don't know what we're
Yeah.
doing. That's sometimes how I
Take
feel
it.
about my For You page. It's all it's super feminist, well, obviously, which I strongly believe in. It's very liberal. And sometimes I'm like, wait a minute, I'm just a sounding board for the same thing. I need to like actually look at other stuff. I love staying in that pocket. Like it's stuff that makes me feel good. Fuck ICE, fuck the police, fuck, the patriarchy.
Fuck your mom,
all
fuck your
that
dad.
shit.
I'll fuck your dad. Whatever.
Yeah.
We'll fuck Dave, we'll fuck Brendan.
We'll fuck Dave.
Yeah, let's go. I think it's important. I think it's important to have like a North Star of like, here's what I align with. But also, just because someone doesn't align with all of these things doesn't mean
Yeah, they're not bad.
like agree to disagree on things if it's not like intrinsic things to your soul and your morals and whatever. Like there's just simple things and like everything has divided us all into categories.
Yeah.
And we're
It's fucked up.
I was like that. I did get like that. And then after like COVID and all like those years, I was like, yo, what the like I am just on the other side of the thing that I say I hate, and I'm doing the exact same shit. Like, and like we were getting this podcast together. Like none of us know what the fuck we're doing. We've only done this one time.
just like,
We've done
plug
this
it
life
in.
thing once.
I need to call
Yeah.
Jeff again.
Oh, vote for somebody. Yeah, what camera do we get? Yeah,
Yeah.
that's how I felt a lot in Massachusetts. And now you're in Portland, which is also very liberal, right?
So liberal.
Yeah.
It's like painfully liberal.
Yeah.
Which is like
Not Oregon isn't in general. Oregon's pretty conservative. There's farmers. It's like all, but Portland is very like concentrated.
like
I would say
Austin.
Portland is like Portland gets this like weird like rep, but like yes, there's gay people here. Yes, there's this trans and this whole like big like all these things, but also yes, there's black people here. Yes, there's conservative people here. Like there's, but like I hate saying the media, but it only portrays things in a negative light. People are always like during 2020, people are like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, yeah, why? What's up? Like, well, I know there's riots in Portland. I was like, there's protests in Portland that are peaceful. The cops are the ones that are being assholes. And by the way, it's like in a 2-block radius.
Small area.
See, because that's what my perception during COVID. I was like, Portland is burning. like everybody beware.
My mom was like, "Are you okay?" Imagine Kiki's parents are from Canada, and they were just like, "Do you need to be rescued?" I'm like, "Bro, I'm literally smoking a joint in a park, walking my dog."
You're like, "I'm fine. I'm benefiting from how liberal this place is."
Let's talk about. I want to. And we can cut this if you want. But
no, whatever. It's always be rolling.
Earlier, and anything you want to edit out, we're allowed to. But earlier, you made a comment. I don't know if you feel comfortable talking about this. You said you got canceled before.
Yeah.
Do you want to elaborate on that or no?
Yeah, I think I'm in a place where it stems back to a place where like me and my therapist that I've had for like 5 years now had figured out like she's like, you've been getting canceled since you were in 2nd grade. For being adopted, for being poor, for not name brand. Like I've constantly been. And when I told my father on his deathbed, because he didn't die of COVID, but he died during that time period. He was like, "Why aren't you making music?" And I was like, I walked away from the music industry because right now it seems to be a place where anyone that doesn't know you can make an assumption about like, oh, you're a band guy, so you automatically are a piece of shit. You're automatically like doing this to fuck women, or you're doing this for like clout. And I'm like, I'm a depressed, self-conscious art kid that made music. And when people started liking it, I was like, I didn't know how to handle attention. I was like, this is so fucking cool.
Yeah. Right.
Yes, did I involve myself in I involved myself in way too many people's lives. I thought I was friends with too many people. So the whole thing of that is when stuff was said about me, it wasn't just, first of all, it was people from back home that like, it's like, as being like, I'm going to own it. Like I'm a villain in some people's stories for sure, because like, surprise, surprise. I'm 40 years old and I've learned a lot of lessons over the years. And like,
weird how that works.
I don't align with 22-year-old Dave. I hate that guy. I hate him. And I feel so bad for that guy. You know what I mean?
Oh, I know.
But things that were said about me were, they got so ridiculous that they were like so convoluted. Like I was going on tour with my band and we had like an underground ring of getting girls pregnant and then leaving them with children.
That was the rumor? That was like the whole story?
The rumor was, and everybody knows this about him. And I was like,
oh my God.
Dude, one person messaged my wife and was like, just so you know, when you and your husband weren't together, never happened. We hooked up in my area of the country and he gave me AIDS.
Oh my God.
Then the next sentence says,
AIDS.
By the way, your wedding photos look beautiful.
Oh my God.
Thanks. We should have invited you.
And that's with your current wife. Like,
that's with my wife.
How long have y'all been married?
We've been married for, she's going to kill me.
A long
we've been married
time.
for 12 years together for almost 16.
Wow.
And the thing is, like, when I got together with her, I was definitely like a fuck boy.
Yeah.
But like emotional fuck boy where like, no, it's funny. None of these girls want to date me.
Yeah.
Like I'm still friends with all the like, the people that I was like involved with then. And it was like, nah, baby, like it wasn't, you were sad and none of us wanted to be, you were a good lay, but none of us wanted to be around you.
Yeah,
like,
you were hot, but you were insufferable.
Davey's so cute. Are you kidding me?
I know, he's so cute.
But like
Kiki's lucky.
there was this time where like I met Keeks and I had already done, like I dated, like me and my ex, like we were kind of like, like the friend group, like leaders of everything, right? And when we broke up, it was unbelievable because I think every girl that I was friends with, like, and I don't, if you're listening to this and you're a girl I friend with and this is not how you felt, that's fine. But it felt like a lot of the girls were like, I'm the next one.
Yeah.
And I knew that I was I hurt people. I'm a hurt person and I'm going to continue to hurt people until I figure out what the fuck is my deal. And I met Keeks and got into therapy.
That's good. Yeah.
she's in Canada, and I kept her a secret for a year. Like I joined Vanna and started dating Kiki in the same like year. So I left.
I'm sorry if I don't know, but were you part of original Vanna when like
No, so
y'all
OG
first
Vanna was around for 3 years.
Okay.
Chris Priest left, and basically I was like best friends with the guys, and he basically like was like, I want Dave to replace me. So I did a tour where Chris was on the tour, and I'd come out and do songs with him, and like we like organically was like, this is Dave, he's gonna be the new singer or whatever. I mean, but like even within that, people were like, I hope your van flips and only Dave dies.
Oh my God. What the fuck?
Like from the jump, but like I've always kind of been used to this. Like when I joined the band and people found Kiki's Tumblr, she like took a picture of like her in the bath, like smoking a joint. People said,
So
push the laptop in, you stupid bitch.
Oh my God.
So people have
are
been
so
crazy
hurtful.
from the beginning of the internet.
I mean,
pretty
literally
much.
since I was a kid,
like
you know?
bullying,
So, like,
online bullying, and but
constantly.
like
And totally
Like, the thing is, like,
unfounded.
right. And the thing is, like, yes, like, was I, by the way, like, not one thing that you went out fuckboy and all this other stuff, like, not one thing I did was illegal, physical against women whatsoever. I was raised by all women. I have a great mom, aunt, sister. Like, I have a hard time connecting with men because I was raised by all women.
And they're Massachusetts women, so you know you're not getting away with anything.
New England.
You're not getting away with shit, dude. Like, not at all. Especially my mother. Like, no way. So, like, everything that I went through, I always explain to people. Like, I was a mental health speaker for like 6 years, and I went on the road and was telling. When I'm saying like what I didn't like who I was, but I wasn't doing anything like crazy. I was fighting. I was like violent with men, fighting people.
Yeah, you're young.
Stealing. Like, I'm young and doing all these things. But the entire time I'm doing it, in my head, I was like, I was estranged from my parents because I was like, I'm out of here. You don't understand me.
Angsty, get me out.
But the whole time I would do something, I'd be like, my mother would be so disappointed in me right now.
Yeah.
And it got to the point where I met Keeks. She made me want to be better. And I left. And I told a lot of people, I was like, listen, I'm gonna leave. First of all, leaving on tour and Vanna, people like, you sold out, you forgot your roots. I'm like, isn't the point to just constantly be better and thriving and growing, right? Isn't that the point? You're mad at me? Like we were 2 weeks ago, we were all celebrating, and then now because I'm gone, and like, you know, out of sight, out of mind, people forget you. So I really just honed in on my relationship, worked on my band, worked on the Vanna and the career that I was trying to build, and I left people with zero, like, hey, it's not you, it's me. I gotta go.
Yeah.
But if you're taking it personal, that's on you. And a lot of people did. And you know, there was like divides that happened. And you know, at that time, I feel like if you're 22, your whole friend group, you all hate each other. You're just not talking about it.
You all talk shit behind each other's back,
and you have
also
too many friends.
And
like,
in
at that time,
too many friends.
You have
too.
acquaintances. You have so
Right.
many
But
acquaintances.
at that time, you're clinging to like the friendships that you had when you were younger, that vibe. So when you're in your 20s, you want that to be like the kids you grew up with, but it's not gonna be that. Maybe with a couple people, but it's not always gonna be that. So when I leave, like people are talking shit, unbeknownst to me, I think that people are my friends, but they're not. Yeah. So what happened in this whole narrative is that I got to a point where I was very healed. I was, you know, being successful, and I was happy. And people who hate you don't want to see you be happy.
No,
and truthfully, I was experiencing what I later learned was like toxic positivity on the internet. Like I'm a speaker. I'm trying to like, you know, motivate. And like I'm truly believing in what I'm saying, but I'm also branding myself. Like I'm creating Davey Muise, the brand, and that's not sustainable as a human being. You can't be a brand. Like you're going to have a breakdown. It's going to be, I'm reliving my trauma every single day of my life. So I'm trying so hard to do the right thing, but on the internet out loud, I'm happy, right? And people who don't like me, that I might be a villain to them. Maybe I slept with their girlfriend. Maybe I fought them back in the day. Maybe, and I hear it all the time. There's stories where I'm like, that never happened to me. Like that person wasn't there. Like, what are you fucking talking about? But when those people see you doing well, they don't want you to do well. So the second there's like an inroad where they can go, oh, there it is. So like a rumor, like a ridiculous rumor would start, and then someone picked it up. And during 2020 and all that kind of time, like, you know, everyone's at home, people are going crazy, divorce rate is skyrocketing, people are dying, everyone's fucked up, right? So they're clinging to like anything they can do, a fitness challenge, a baking challenge, like talking shit, like watching
waterboarding
people's
themselves.
Right, like just all this negative shit that like I think a lot of people, and the reason why like, you know, cancel culture is dead is because that time was like, I know people that like went in on like the brand new cancellation, went in on and watching people's lives be destroyed, and now are like, I can't believe I was a part of something like that. It's so evil, it's so terrible. Like,
and growing up is like, I don't need to cancel everybody. I just need to make sure I'm okay.
You know what?
And I'm not going to spread hate.
People too are so they'll yell and scream like about one thing, like, yo, fuck that guy, fuck this, da 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 da, and then buy a ticket and go see Brand New.
Yeah, it's like,
and it's like
you can't apply this to everybody.
Yeah.
Exactly. You can't pick and choose. I think it's better to just stick to what you know and what you believe in, and just stay quiet.
Also, maybe commend people that do grow. The whole point is growing, and especially in hardcore culture, I love that we all were like, okay, all the songs are essentially about like, my friend's over you, like bullshit, right? Like that. And you're all like, family, I got your fucking back, and hard times and this, that, and the other thing. And we all look so rough and tough on the exterior. But then it comes so full circle, and it's even more sexy when you're like, yo, that shitbag, like, look at him now. He's like,
he's grown.
That's kind of like the overarching thing of like my life always is just like constant movement and constant growth. And there was a little while, like I'm not gonna lie, like during that time I'm talking about, there was a while where I wasn't in therapy and I kind of plateaued, and I think that I was rubbing people like the wrong way, right? And during that time I kind of like I closed down, shut off like all social media, because my therapist, I went into emergency therapy right away. And it's so funny because there's so many friends and people I know that like have no idea that I've ever even like dealt with stuff like this in my life before. And I'm like, have you ever listened to a Vanna song and read the lyrics? The reason why you relate to a Brand New song, a Vanna song, about being a piece of shit is because you were a piece of shit too, right? And this gives you hope that like, so I'm like, when like it happened to Jesse Lacey, I was like, did anyone not read a Brand New lyric once? Like he is so self-deprecating and hating himself, but you can see the growth and the, you know what I mean? Right. So it's like, I always say, this is like something I heard a long time ago, was if we demand people to grow, we also have to give them the space to do so. So if you say, and by the way, accountability culture, it's all bullshit. The only person you could be accountable to is your fucking self. Yeah. That's fucking it. Because you could lie to anyone about, and you can lie to your therapist, you can lie to, the only person you can be honest with is yourself. Yeah. And if you're gonna like demand, like you need to like, okay, so like, let's take this Brand New thing for an instance, right? Came out, said everything.
Which the show was sick, by the way.
I cried.
I'm gonna go again. We were texting. We both were crying.
Yeah. Did he? But like, can you guys fill me in on the drama?
Okay, so basically this is like back in the, and also by the way, when you're in a band, I'll start by saying this. A lot of the people in bands, men and women in bands at that time, right? That none of this was cool. All of this was like, you were called a in high school for wearing like, you know, skinny jeans, your hair sucks, like all this stuff, right? Yeah. But at a certain point you become an adult and you go, I'm gonna lean into what I want, right? Yeah. We're all generations of these bands that were like insecure, depressed losers that then put their art out there, connected with the world, and then you're thrown on a stage with thousands of people and people are worshiping the ground you walk on. And that is a very hard thing to like understand and like wade through.
Yeah, you're like, I'm not condemned for this anymore. I'm cool, but I was always doing the same thing. Yeah.
That's so not, like that's not to say too, like, again, Dave, you can explain, because I don't fully know the Brand New lore to a T, but also, like, to clear the air, we're not saying what he did was fucking okay either.
No, and
I don't know what he did, but it wasn't okay.
That's the other thing too, is like, no one is saying, even the stuff that like I was involved with, and like, you know, fighting people and stealing shit and lying, none of that is okay. But I have grown and learned. I've had by the way, not one person that like, I've made amends with everyone pretty much, or I've tried. And sometimes when you go to make amends, you have to accept that you might get a fuck you, don't talk to me ever again. Yeah. And I'm cool with that. I've gotten like, you know, I got a couple back in the day. But so the whole Brand New thing is that he did something. He was at a time where he was chatting with a girl and she was, I guess she was like 17 or underage or whatever, but she also had said in her statement that she takes full responsibility for going. I mean, I'm friends with, my whole friend group is women, and the amount of times they're like, I had no business being 17 in a 22-year-old dude's car smoking weed when I was in high school.
Did it.
But I was there, and I made that choice.
Oh my God, totally.
But it's okay, because you look back and go, holy shit. That's why when you have children, I mean, I don't, but when you have children, you're like, please fucking be safe, because I almost died so many times I didn't realize it.
Remember our parents saying that to us, and we were like, fuck you, Mom, I'm going to do what I want. And then we look back and you were like, why was I going 100 miles an hour on the Mid-Cape when I'm 16 with these creepy ass guys from college?
In cars with boys, you shouldn't be.
Yeah,
exactly. But like we all learn and we grow. I hope the guys in the car grow and learn. I hope the girls in the car grow and learn too. So like he did something, like he was like chatting with her, whatever. He maintained that relationship through like adult age. From what I know, she kind of was like, so now I'm, 27 or whatever. That was a real fucked up thing. And she confronted him, and he was like, you're right. And she was like, I have to like tell my story. And like, he sat down, like, I know from like, his wife, him and her sat down, talked, made events, and he said, do what you have to do to heal. She made her statement, and he bowed out of everything because he needed to go learn and grow. He didn't get caught and now he's disappearing. No, that man needed to learn and grow. And by the way, like, I'm not trying to put anything on blast, but like, he also, during that time, like, they lost a child during that time. And he went through a lot of stuff, and watching him on stage,
he went to sex rehab.
He did, yes. And watching him on stage be there, you could tell. And people will still talk shit, but that to me was like, it's not even about cancel culture. That word is such a like a hype word.
Yeah,
it's about growth, and that's proof that people can really grow. And I've always looked towards people that can grow. I was left for dead in a drawer by my birth parents. Since day one, I've been like left for dead. I was adopted. Like my whole life, since I was a baby, I've understood that I am an underdog. I'm never going to be on top unless I bring myself to that point. So like when I'm on stage, like people think like, oh yeah, he's got a fucking ego. He's this guy and that guy. Like, no, in front of you is a scared, sad 8-year-old boy who's trying to tell the world that I'm just trying to be okay.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to continue to heal. I had a suicide attempt when I was like 22.
Wow.
I had a friend step in. He didn't even know, and stepped in with a phone call at the right time. I haven't felt that way ever until 2020. And all that happened. Not only did all that happen that I left the music industry, because I was like, I don't feel safe here. By the way, all my friends within the music industry had my motherfucking back like hard. I got texts, phone, everything. Yeah. And I just needed to separate myself and go, clearly there's something about me that I need to work on. And I'm, 5 years deep in therapy. And now I go monthly now because I've really, really worked on it. But also in that time, I got into a car accident that left me like, I was fucking retarded for like a couple. Like I was like, I like sandwiches. Can I have a sandwich?
More than usual.
You still are.
Yeah. So like I've gone to now 4 years of brain like pulse therapy, body work therapy. Like and then really literally right after that, also I quit speaking because couldn't do it during COVID anyways. And I was like, I'm done. Every day I am reliving my trauma, and that's not good for me. And then my father died. So like I have all of these things happen within a few months. So I disappear from the whole world because I have to. If one of those things happened to me, I would disappear from the world. Just one. And I really buckled down. I healed my body. I healed my mind. Good. I worked through mommy issues. I worked through my daddy issues that I thought I was done with. I thought I worked through this stuff.
Dude.
We did rescue therapy for me to go back and like talk to 10-year-old me or 12-year-old me when I was like sexually assaulted by a guy in my church, and like to forgive myself for all these things that I thought I really worked on. And I have truly purged so much out of me. That's not to say that I won't continue to deal with problems, but I've purged so much out of me that I now don't give a fuck if you give me room to grow. I'm doing it anyways, and I don't care because my community, my friend group of 12 women, which by the way, I'm friends with their boyfriends and husbands now because I knew them. Yeah. But my friend group, I've never seen people stand up for me so hard. So while things are going on, whatever, I have this like insular group that has my back, but they also are questioning me. I said, I'll have an open conversation with all of you, sat down, talked to them about all this stuff. And I need to be able to like move on from stuff, and I cannot continue to be the 8-year-old underdog for the rest of my life. Like I fucking refuse to do that.
Yeah.
I deserve to grow and change. And by the way, everything that I did in Vanna was from my heart, almost too much from my heart. Because if like you're like, because I was also like, someone's like, that record's mid, not that good. I'm like, well, what can I do to make you like me? Like,
Yeah,
please like the
no,
record,
we're not
you know?
doing that anymore.
We're done.
not
This new
doing
band
that.
I'm doing, I
Yeah.
don't give a hot fuck.
No.
If you like
Yeah.
it, if you think I'm a piece of shit, if you think I'm a god, that is your opinion of me. That's your business.
I think
My-
for there needs to be two things. Like, okay, we need to give a space for the victims, right? Okay, so that girl, in regards to like brand new, for example, yeah,
100%. She needed to tell her story.
let her say her story so she can go and heal.
100%.
And then the person that did the wrong thing, the person that's on the shit side, whatever the situation is, they are given a choice of, do you want to heal and do you want to do right and grow, or do you want to sit and stay like this? And everyone
Yeah.
needs to like be given that. I have my own personal things of what happened to me. Podcasting is a version of me, my therapy growing, right? And the person that did something nasty to me, I hope you either grow, and if you don't grow, go fuck yourself. But I
It's
hope
either
you
you
grow.
grow or you go, dude.
Yeah,
like I can't do this whole thing. And like
Right.
that's the whole thing too of like, like kind of touching on like the like male culture right now, young male culture.
Oh,
right
that
now
was interesting
is-
what you brought up before. Yeah. So
There's 5
Yeah.
minutes before this, I think, might shit the bed.
Yeah.
So are you guys okay if we pause right there and then we'll call you back so we can
And
start
recall?
back
Yeah,
on male culture?
yeah, we'll get into that.
All right,
Okay.
cool.
Okay,
All right,
bye.
let's pause. Let's go. Woo!
Hey.
That's Dave from Vanna. Well, used to be from Vanna. Former.
That's one of the guys. That's one of the guys
Former.
I've
I
been
liked
in
your
my
band
life.
when I was in high school. Still do.
Do you know how many times I hear that a day? I love
He
your
said,
band.
"Do you know
when
how
I was
many times
12.
I hear that a day? I love your band." When I saw, dude, I remember being a kid and my friends in like middle school or beginning of high school, and people being like, "Do you want to go see Vanna?" And I'm like, "I don't know what that is." And they're like, "The Palladium," and I'm like, "Okay." That's sick.
They were even before I joined. It was like the thing, It's like
Yeah.
they're our band. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
how old were you when
Yeah,
you
sure.
first started the band?
So I joined Vanna in 2009. So I was like 24.
Wow. Yeah. And that's like,
I was 24.
that's a baby age
I
to start
want-
like a business and a
my
job
frontal
and like
lobe had just formed.
So
Yeah.
soft, so soft.
Barely.
So smooth,
Yeah.
such a smooth
Yeah.
brain,
and you're
bro,
thrown in,
yeah.
as you were saying earlier, you're thrown into like girls and money and like media, which is was a new
Attention.
thing.
I let in interviews like this, I let people talk about my wife. So your wife does
yeah.
Suicide Girls. How do you feel about
Yeah.
that? And I was like, oh, well, if I don't answer this question, people aren't going to buy my record. If someone asked me that now, I'd be like, how about you fuck off or
Yeah.
hire my wife for an interview and you can talk to her about
That's
that
right,
shit.
baby.
Okay, one, I think that, the thing that I would say that actually made Dave and myself like close and really have like a friendship and like feel comfortable with each other was when I was talking to said former person. And that
Did she sleep with him?
did she sleep with him? Listen to the
And but
episode.
what did I say?
motherfuckers.
What did I say to you when you did?
When I slept with him?
I said,
I got
"Wait,
trouble.
no."
I
And
got
you
in
said-
trouble.
He goes, why?
I was like, "Wait, what did I say? Don't."
What
do
did you say?
that."
Don't do it?
I said, "Don't do it."
Hell
He-
yeah, bro.
okay.
And when she said she did, I said, "Whitney, come on, like, what are we?" And she goes, "What?" Like, you made a joke about like, "No, I'm pretty sure it'll fix all my problems."
yeah.
It's
I
like
was
having
like,
a
no.
baby or like putting a Band-Aid on
we'll
it.
have a baby. It'll be fine.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
So, okay, so this
But yeah,
person.
let's get into it.
Let's get into it, motherfuckers, because so many of our listeners are always asked, like, would you get into the poly relationship if it did pan out? And they're all curious about this. So
Which was something that he introduced, right?
he brought up, and I was like, who do I know that I feel
Yeah.
comfortable talking about this? That actually like has their shit together, right?
Has been there.
So I was like, Dave, let me holler at you real quick.
100%. And I was really glad that you did.
But but the way that you were, first off, he sent me like 20-minute voice messages.
Oh,
and
yeah.
He we were doing therapy. I had to send him a copay. But the way I really appreciated the way you worded everything,
Yeah.
it was such a, like a well-educated point of view.
Yeah, there was like no
on the
judgment.
topic.
It was no like, it wasn't harsh. It was like, okay.
Well,
let me talk about
Yeah.
it wasn't like a girlfriend being like, ew, bitch, don't do it. Or like, yeah, do it. It's super. It was like there was meaning and education behind the reasoning of why or why not and the views with it.
Yeah.
So anyways, we can, Dave, elaborate on the logistics, please.
Yeah, and like having that conversation, it's, as a just growing and all this other stuff is like, you should be able to challenge your friends. So the way I spoke to you was like, I'm coming from a place of love, but like I disagreed with a couple, and I challenged your views on how you were perceiving his actions, right?
Well, I mean, we also then, in the end, we all realized this person doesn't want a poly relationship.
He just wants
They're
to have
just
you
a
and
fuck boy.
Which is something I said.
Yeah.
So first of all, like if you, no matter what, if you're going to find assholes that are gay, trans, straight, men, women, you're going to find people who are not doing whatever they're doing correctly, right? Which then gives that relationship style a bad outlook to the people then that like experience it, right? So like, if you date a guy, it's like, I want to be poly, and then he's out there in the streets fucking around and doing all this stuff.
Throwing
Whatever.
ass everywhere.
You're gonna be like, fuck being poly. That's not for me, right? But it's all about your experience. So like for me, is like in your relationship style, like polyamory, non-monogamy, all that stuff requires the most amount of clear, concise conversation and communication. There's no way around that, and I think that's true of any relationship.
You're communicating, but you're writing checks that your ass can cash. Not talking shit and then doing something else.
You're being honest with your actions and your intentions.
You're following through with your words.
Yeah.
Which is some of that.
You should do that for
some of
any
that stuff,
relationship too.
Any relationship.
Right?
And you can know that some of that stuff is really hard to do. It might be hard to say, hey, I'm in a, like all that person needed to say is like, I'm constantly traveling. I'm constantly busy. I'm constantly this. I'm not going to set expectations for you that I then can't deliver on. The best thing to do is be honest. And then if you can over deliver, holy shit, I'm going down on you in the movie theaters. You know what I mean? Like if you can over deliver, but you have to communicate, but you have to be honest with yourself about what you want out of this. Polyamory and non-monogamy are like really like they're love styles, but it's like a way of like, first of all, you kind of have, you got to have it or you don't have it. You got to have this, like, this is kind of the way that I want to love. But the other part is that if you're going to enter a relationship, like, I mean, any relationship, right? But especially a non-traditional alternative relationship, your ass better be therapized, fucking moistured, hydrated, like because you're bringing more than one person into this like scenario, right? And I said earlier, but hurt people hurt people. So if you are hurt, you're going to hurt people, even if you don't want to, even if you're trying to be a good person. So like when you're entering that, like that arena with people, it's like there's so many different styles too. It's like, primary, kitchen table polyamory, primary partners, all this other stuff.
Kitchen table polyamory.
Yeah, it's a whole. Listen, I also think that like
we fucking on the kitchen table.
Yeah. I also
like
think
that thing you're making for the barbecue. The devil's on the back with the dates and the bacon.
Yeah. It's kitchen table polyamory for the barbecue today. I also think that like all that community is bullshit. Like community is, if you're talking about community, you're not a real community. So it's kind of all whatever. And there's all these like different buzzwords and all these things, but really at the end of the day is that you have to make sure that your shit isn't hurting other people, your trauma, your issues, like, and people say all the time, like, like, oh, well, I'm like this because of this. It's like, cool. Wouldn't it be cooler if you just worked on it? You can identify that you used to be like that, but not anymore. So you're dragging not only one person in, but like, I also see polyamory as an excuse for people just to fuck around and do whatever they want. Like people aren't wrong when they say that about non-monogamy or whatever, but like in the same breath, they are wrong because if you're doing a relationship correctly, you're able to thrive. That's not to be said that there's not going to be problems like jealousy, all the other things that you go through, but like that love style forces you to confront your jealousy, your issues, and if you're not going to do that, you're not going to be successful in that whatsoever. So wait, in your case, I think maybe the person, discovered this like love style and, oh, that kind of sounds like it would fit my lifestyle, which I agree it would if you we're educated about, like, there's books by therapists on it. Have you read one of them? If you're going to enter that, there's like 3 books that you should automatically read right off the rip about that shit.
You didn't read the baby books, dude.
You didn't read the baby books, dude.
No, he just went on TikTok and was like, I could do this. I like her ass and I like her ass. So I want to have both butts.
Her ass and
and their ass and his ass.
Everybody. But then at a certain point, like, you know, with Wit, it's like, we can say no strings attached, which is like, again, that's not what like non-monogamy and polyamory is about, but you can say no strings attached. You can say, let's not get hurt feelings. You can say it, but guess what, motherfucker, I'm human. And if you give me attention and send me your boobs and want to kiss me and come visit me, I'm going to start liking you.
Yeah,
and that is something that I can't control because you're not forcing me to like you, but the way that you're acting, I fucking like you, dude.
And then he like thinks that you're weak by giving into your emotion, and then he's like gaslighting you about how much you're doing, where he's given you everything to make you feel that. I'm still bitter about it, obviously.
Listen to Dave explain it, especially when I was like currently in that, was so like. Yeah, you're Dave's talking about the fucking reality of it, you know, versus like what was actually happening. But also, to be clear, now where I'm at now in my life, I don't want a poly relationship.
Right, and you can
Yeah.
discover that it's not for you, and that's wonderful, and it's great that you tried it and went there, and you know, but also like. Not for nothing, but you like that wasn't a real good poly relationship. But
the
also,
relationship part was not there.
Yeah.
No, but the dynamics were there, and you're like, oh, I don't align with these dynamics. Not for me. All good. Like we'll just move on from that. But like also, I did say to you too that like. I listened to. I mean, as soon as that podcast dropped, I feel like I was like, I created the playbook for that podcast.
Yeah.
So I listened to it, and I was very proud of where you landed with a lot of things.
Nice.
And there was, like Malik, you guys did a really good job of not being like, girl, fuck him. You're the best. There's accountability
That's
of like
Chelsea, honestly.
Yeah, Chelsea helped with that.
Yeah, Chelsea helped with that.
Yes, 100%.
She was the best. Otherwise we would have been throwing hands probably.
Right. But I also think there's a certain amount of like, and I'm comfortable saying this, like there's a certain amount of accountability that you have to take with of like entering it. And then also talking to me, and I'm like, here's the reality, right? He's not living in reality, but also, babe, you're not living in reality because you want this, like you want what you want. The thing that he's saying he can deliver, but he cannot deliver that to you right now. And I was like, do not have sex with him. Don't go see him. Don't let him come see you.
Dude, I pretty much
didn't
though. Yeah, pretty much.
but it's, you know, just like anything else, it's a life lesson that you can grow from. And that's I almost forgot that's the whole point. Like literally live life, experience things, and then go, that's for me, that's not for me. And keep it moving. But like the whole time is like, work on yourself so you are not hurting people. Like that is the biggest thing. We drag our shit into relationships. We drag our shit into marriages. We drag our shit all over our, like, not kids, like when you have children, like
parents.
You know, there's so many things that if we just worked on those things originally here and then decided to go out and like live our lives, like man, we'd be avoiding so much. And also my whole thing too, and like I think this might segue into the current state of men. But and here's my thing is like, you could be an asshole, you could be a fuckboy, right? You can fuck around, you can hurt women's feelings, and you can hurt your own feelings, but like, wouldn't it be way sicker for you? Not even take everyone out of the equation. Wouldn't it be way sicker for you if you like worked on your shit so that you weren't hurting? Because like the more worked on you are, you meet a girl at a bar, and the more worked on you are, and they're hearing your words, bro, you're gonna get fucked. You're going to get,
dude, you're
gonna get everything sucked.
Yeah, you're sexier.
Yeah, you're gonna get fucked and sucked, dude.
Dude, and that is like, it's like, so like, let's look at it from like a toxic male point of view of like, yo, like I just want to bang chicks.
Yeah,
like,
and I deserve to bang. That's what they think.
Do you know how you can bang chicks? You know how you can bang chicks so easily? Go to therapy, work on yourself, listen to them, understand that like women live a different world than you do. Like I've said to my friends before, which I have great male friends now.
Yeah.
But I've said to my friends or men before, I was like, on a date, what's the number one thing that you're afraid of with a girl? And then we've got like, and it comes down to like, rejection. Like if I shoot my shot and I'm rejected, and I'm like, absolutely, that's the number one. I was like, do you know a woman's number one fear is on a date.
Getting
and like,
murdered?
what? I'm like, getting murdered, getting raped, and getting murdered.
Yeah,
and once you like the
Yeah.
whole the bear or a man in the woods. My friends like,
Hell
why
yeah.
would you? I'm like, dude, because all a bear can do is kill you. A man could hold you for years in a fucking basement.
Yeah.
Like,
Yep.
so like you have to understand. That's the whole thing. Is like I'm saying this. I bet a bunch of guys are like, this guy's a fucking asshole and ruining things for all of us. I was
No,
you. I
he's
was that guy.
not, dude.
You're just
And it
saying
took-
what they
it-
don't want to hear because they
Right, but
don't want to accept
Be
that
like
it's true.
Dave and live forever. How about
But
that?
it took women being patient with me and me understanding that. Like once you understand that, that's where women are. They wake up every day and go, "I hope a man doesn't rape and murder me today."
Oh, yeah. Dude, one
and
of
we
my
see the news
ex-boyfriends,
constantly.
sorry, one of my ex-boyfriends we were talking about, he's like, being a girl is really hard. He's like, you're like, am I going to get killed today? Versus being a man, you know what they teach you? Don't rape. And it's like,
Yeah, don't rape.
Hey,
Yeah,
you could just not do that.
don't do that,
And they're like, I don't
please.
get
Yeah.
it. They're still like, I don't know.
Speaking of girls having patience, you're like, let's commend your wife for like,
Oh.
dude,
Brother, she's a
yeah.
she's a saint.
This is
She's
Kiki's.
changed-
Yeah.
This is for Kiki.
Yeah. And the thing is, like, I grew up with all women, right? But when I met my wife and I like loved a woman, to love that woman means you have to understand where she's coming from. And there'd be times where she'd be like, "Why would you say that?" I'm like, "Oh, well, wait,
What?
why? Wait, why? Why is
Yeah.
that not okay?" And then she'd tell me, and I'm like, "Oh shit! Like,
Yeah.
yeah, you're
Yeah.
totally right."
Yep.
And like, I want to make out and have sex with my wife all the time, and she can't do that if she's mad at you. And like even like a small thing, like I don't know if, but like I was referring to women as females all the time. I didn't understand that like women, a lot of women, like some might not care, but a lot of women's like it feels derogatory. It feels like still male driven. I'm coming from a place where I'm like, I fucking love females, but what I'm saying is like my intention's good, but what I'm saying is wrong.
Yeah.
And I could just sit there and be like, what? No, what I'm saying is I like females. Or you can shut the fuck up.
Or you call them
and
girls.
understand-
That's a new thing I see.
Yeah.
I see guys on podcasts calling them girls, and it's
Yo,
like
they
that's not
they haven't been a
good.
girl since they graduated high school, my brother. They're
what the
women.
fuck are we
Like,
supposed to be called?
Broads.
Broads.
broads,
Fucking
chicks,
broads,
dude. But the
bitches.
thing is, like, you can have good intentions, but the road to hell is paved with good intentions. What you have to do is listen, learn, and accept that you might be fucking wrong. I'm wrong every day. I'm wrong every day in my life about everything, you know?
Is it all of
But you-
us? Isn't it so?
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be so sick instead of just hooking up with a bunch of different people? Because let's be honest, like typically the first time you have sex with someone, it's not fucking it. It's not good in my experience. Versus when you are consistently having sex with that person, you start to like know what this person likes. They know what you like. You get more,
and
like,
you also get to
that
develop
sounds
what you
sick.
like. Yeah,
Yeah, and
that's more of like that's the goal. Like that's what you
That's
want.
on
I think that's
Therapy,
maturity.
baby.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And you
Yeah.
can
Yeah.
communicate how you feel. And what you said is that you can't have sex with your wife when she's mad. That's like
No.
a ding, ding, ding. You got to treat them right all day.
This brings me
leading
to
up
my
to
next
it.
topic of I was reflecting. We're back on I don't remember the last time I had sex. That's going to be the new thing.
No, I
again.
think we should strike that one from the record. And you're still a virgin.
I'm still a virgin.
Yeah, we got to
Oh
break
yeah,
your
born again
hymen.
virgin. You
Born
could be a
again
virgin
virgin.
every day if
You
you
might
want.
grow
My
it.
hole's a virgin.
Grow it back.
Yeah.
Oh, well,
Grow it back.
should
But
we,
like
have,
this-
we should have butt sex in honor of Pride.
Stop.
This is our month.
Oh
baby.
yeah, we should just engage it. We should engage
Yeah,
it.
we love Pride.
But to like kind of, I know we want to get to like, and it's something I've been really interested. I was telling you guys, like I've been deep diving, like, what's going on with men between the ages of like,
Yeah.
like 18
Oh,
and
yeah,
30,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
And where this is all coming from is like growing sucks. Therapy sucks. It's fucking hard.
Dude, I'm in
Like,
EMDR therapy right now. It's fucking rough, dude.
It's rough, man. Like I have my therapist has seen every booger that I've ever had. I have drained my body of
Yeah.
liquid tears because at the other side of that is healing and growth, and it sucks. I'm on this is 5-year journey of it, but I'm just now, like when you asked me this podcast, I haven't done it. Like I'm like, oh, I'm in a good place where I can do something like this, and I feel like I have something to say that's valid because I've worked on myself, and it's so fucking hard. Kiki's worked on herself. The last 5 years, we've both been in therapy full time, and everything in our life has flourished in a great way. But when it's not flourishing, it's bad. We also now have the tools to deal with
Yeah,
that. You know,
that's sick, yeah.
I'm not like getting on the couch and being like, my life sucks. Why am I even alive? Like,
Right.
it's not like that anymore. But like, so that that is tough, right? Most people don't want to be confronted with that kind of stuff. I didn't want to be confronted with stuff. We're in a generation now where white men, we ruled the world, and we still do. But there's this thing where like, I remember like a while ago, I was like into astrology, and we entered the age of like women, like female energy, and like I can't remember, it was like 2012 or something like that.
Feminine. I love
Right.
that.
So, but we saw like, you know,
Like a
women
shift.
pop stars. We shift, and we start seeing like all these like TV shows are made by women, and it's like the world was just like, let's go, let's get the women on top.
Yeah.
And there's positive men who grew and were like, yeah, fuck yeah. Like, do I want my wife to thrive? You know, it's like,
Yeah.
do I want this stuff?
Do I
Like,
want my
yo,
wife
the-
to bring a bag home? Fuck
Exactly.
yeah, dude.
Yes,
Yeah.
There's
dude.
also,
You know
and
what I
they
mean? Like-
realize like there's space for the other, you know, gender. There's many genders in the world, but there's more space
There's
than
only
just
2.
one. There's only 2. Like men that aren't accepting of that are just like, I'm on top all the time, and I should stay here, and that's how it should be.
Right. And that's, dude, there was years that like my wife, I don't mind saying this, when I was in Vanna, the early days, my wife made money. She gave me an allowance to live and to get food. And then when I was speaking, she had a job that wasn't paying like a ton, and I was like the breadwinner. And so
Yeah.
I was like doing it's a flow, and you have to be okay with that. But we're living in a time now where men feel attacked. They feel like there's like this war on men because literally the bar's in hell, and all we're asking you to do is just like go to therapy. That's all. We're just asking you to like work on yourself a little bit and grow a little bit, you know? So like, you know, the bar's in hell with men. Women have taken it, you know, on the chin for so long. I think that y'all are sick of that shit.
Yeah,
and
dude.
you're not going to put up with it. And now you have podcasts. Now you have TikToks, and other women can like, whatever. But men think it's like this like army of women getting together. And there's all these
scared.
there's all these popular podcasts that have all men on them. A lot of them are comedians. And like, I'm not gonna lie, like I like a lot of these comedians. I like a lot of whatever, but then I watch them and I watch how they talk about women. And even if it's a joke, right? And they're married and have wives and stuff, like that doesn't matter. Even if it's a joke, like what you're hearing is like, for instance, like, boys don't want to grow up to be lawyers or doctors or even musicians. Boys want to grow up to be YouTubers.
Yeah.
They want to grow up to they want attention. They want all these things. So they're seeing like, you know, the Paul brothers. They're seeing
Mr. Hype
you know, Kai
Beast or
Cenat.
Mr. Beast
Who
or
the
whatever the fuck his name
are
is.
these guys?
They're just
They're all
Gaylords.
they're all like YouTube guys, podcasters that young boys aren't watching. They're not watching TV. My like nephew is 10. He just turned 10.
Yeah.
He can't tell you one TV show that's on TV,
Go
but he can
watch
tell you
Beavis and
every
Butthead, dude. What the
he
fuck?
can tell you every YouTuber, Dad, I need
sucks.
Prime. I want Feastables. Like I want these like things that they're influencing this like culture from the ground up. So by the time that these kids get to be 18, they've been listening to these unworked on toxic men since they were 10 years old, and they're entering this like world where like the baseline is they just don't respect women at all. And they think that like, you know, male loneliness and the male ego is so fragile. And we're watching like, so this is crazy. I still got it happen to me yesterday. I have a Twitter account that I follow news. I follow news, space, earth, ocean, all the stuff that I like care about. Right. But I also follow like, there's some like right-leaning things and left because I need to see what's going on in the world. But my algorithm is pretty dialed, whatever. I got this account. It's called Why Women Deserve Less on Twitter. And it's just videos of women being like,
oh my God,
stupid, or they even like retweet videos of other women being like, women, you need to know your place. We
it's
are
just our
women.
podcast.
But like, so like, the thing is like,
That's
like
fucked. But you see that and you're like,
algorithm.
You're like, it's out there for even me to see.
Right. So if I'm seeing this, guys who are, I'm not seeking it. Guys who are seeking it are going to see the worst. So I think that like, this is the answer is that the men who are in the driver's seat of all of these things aren't the men that should be in the driver's seats of these things. And by the way, if you were like, Dave, you should have a podcast, you could do it. I'm like, no, I don't want to fucking do it.
You can fucking hop on here anytime you want, Dave.
Well, I'll be on this podcast. I feel safe in this room. But, but the thing is, like, if that's all you surround yourself, you're in a feedback loop where you're like, hey, guys, they're coming for your masculinity. Hey, guys, you know, trans women are coming to threaten you and coming in your bathrooms and all that stuff. Like gay people, like all this other stuff. Like you might not inherently like not like gay people, but the people that you're listening to are making fun of it a lot, and you're gonna start like having
That's all
these,
you're
like,
feeding yourself, right?
Yeah,
It could
so
start with one
eventually-
issue, exactly, like you're
getting brainwashed.
your traditional values, right? So then you're kind of anti-woman a little bit, or women should be doing different things, and then you get seeped into gay. I don't like gay people either. Oh, my neighbor is brown. I don't like him.
Oh my God.
It just continues to grow in this fester, just this nasty shit.
I
right.
clicked.
So we're
Sorry, Dave.
Go ahead. No,
I was
go ahead.
going to say, because not that long ago is when I was down the rabbit hole of like, do your self-growth queen. Like, if he isn't doing this, ba-da-da-da-da. So all those memes and reels, that was like my feed. And now I personally am like in a better place. And I'm like, get the fuck out of here, algorithm. Change it
yeah, and
up.
that's the-
switch
that's
up.
the
Show me
thing
a
too,
pig
is,
in a
like,
dress.
That's the thing too, is right. Is like, so these men, we're listening to these podcasts. We're on YouTube. We're looking at all this stuff, right? Then women are seeing it, and then women are reacting to it on the internet, and it's like this like anti men culture, but not for no reason. It's for good reason. And then men go, look, there it is. See, you fucking hate us.
Right.
See that? And I'm like, dog, that's a reaction to the thing that you said. Like, this is, and we're doing this like cycle.
Like
But
Chelsea
no one's
Handler
talking to each other.
Exactly. Like
no one's having
wants
the
to listen.
conversation. Yeah,
Everyone's
guys,
being weird.
listen, sit down. Like, if you sat down for 2 minutes with a woman in a room and you don't know anything about them, you're gonna find out where women come from, why they feel this way, why they walk out of their house like, I hope I don't get murdered today, I hope I don't get raped today. But if you don't understand the baseline of that, you're gonna fail.
Yeah.
Every time, because you're not truly understanding where they're coming from.
Controversial. I fucking love men. Like,
Yeah.
I love a,
Well,
I love a daddy.
I love a daddy.
Yeah.
I love an educated.
And I'm
daddy.
looking.
You know what we need? You know what we need? And I say this because when I always have pushback on any conversation, like when we, all the women I'm friends with, and I'm like, it's not an excuse, but men are I entered this world fucked from the start. I had a bad dad. All the men I idolized were pieces of shit. So like, I'm off rip, not doing well. Off rip women are in general like pretty awesome, right? So you're learning from your mom, from your aunt, from your whatever, at least like core basics. So a lot of us are fucked from the jump. And if you don't make that decision to like understand it, like you're gonna go deeper and deeper into that shit. And what we really need is like there's a podcast I listen to called the Monica from Armchair Expert has a podcast with one of her best friends.
Sure what that's called.
Cool.
It's really, really good. And she's like a really big like feminist activist, writer, speaker, all that kind of stuff.
Nice.
But she has an account called For the Love of Men, where she is constantly posting men being positive, working through their shit and like
That's
loving
it.
on these men.
Yeah.
But also at the same time, I love you, so I'm going to call you out on your negative behavior because I want you to be better. And I really love that account because we do need, to a certain extent, hating and being upset about it is never going to fix anything. And you have big reasons to be upset. You have big, like, I'm also not like a not all men guy. Fuck it, all men. Because because at one point I was that guy. So all men, right?
Yeah.
I'm not part of like, listen, I'm a good one. Like, fuck off.
Yeah, that's
dude.
a pick me. You're being a pick me
Yeah.
if you say that.
It's not about that, but we need to be loved, and we need to be challenged. Yeah, taught and like, it's like, it's not up to me to teach a man how to be like, okay, well then who is it up to? Because if you don't give and like, you're not a teacher, you're not a mom. It's a big thing. Every man that I know that's like single is like, your girlfriend is mothering you. Like, grow up,
totally.
go to therapy,
Go,
work through your mommy issues,
Exactly.
and then get back out there in the streets. But I guess taught isn't the right word, but like, I don't know, like nurtured in a way that's like, because if you don't do that, a podcast is going to do it. I mean, a podcast with 7 guys with no women on it are going to do that for them.
Right, exactly.
So it's like this it's got to be a give and take of like, you got to meet them halfway and they got to meet you halfway.
Like,
and that's the only way it's going to happen. You know what I mean?
Do you ever find, Whitney, with your father and your brother, do you
Those
ever
motherfuckers.
Exactly, and it's also about, I think, the age of people, right? So our dad's
For sure,
generations were grown up with never a woman in the workplace. It was like a full male
My
dominated
dad
wherever
was in
they
the Marine
worked.
Corps and is a fucking CO.
Exactly.
So, but you know
And
where
my
he went
dad
and
is
he met his
ex-military.
wife? in prison. She was a CO too.
That's what I'm talking about, baby. But do you find yourself educating your dad subtly, slightly, every single?
No, directly and aggressively.
Yeah, well, that generation, you have to be like directly and aggressively.
Yeah, like, Dad, you can't
God.
fucking say that. And then he's like, oh, yeah, okay, you're right. I can't
My
say that.
dad and I are so close, and I love and adore him so much.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
our views are so opposite. When the Women's March was happening in Boston, that's when I was working in Southie, and he called me and he's like, "You better not be there at that fucking match. You
Exactly.
guys have equal rights already." And I was
You
like,
better not be with those broads walking in the streets.
Take
get
off your
back in
pink
the
hat.
kitchen.
Yes, and I sent him a
Exactly.
selfie in my pink hat, and he and I got in a fight, and we didn't talk. This shirt, he hates this shirt. This
That's
Fuck
right.
the Police
Yeah.
shirt.
Yeah.
He hates it, but
I like.
It's just
I
like
live by,
showing
like-
them that we're around. Hey,
yeah.
and we're
Yeah.
not out there like burning our bras. I mean, maybe we are, but we're also your daughters, and we're not crazy for wanting just like very.
we're running out of
bare
time.
minimum shit.
We gotta do it one more time. I'm sorry, Dave.
Something I was going to say right at the end of that was I like to live my life by someone, I don't remember who, maybe my therapist said, I love the phrase.
Go on. Sorry.
I love the phrase, two things can be true, right? I love my dad. We're very, very close.
Exactly.
He's the best. Period. Don't have to put a but or a however, period. Also, I don't align with him on these things. So like accepting that is pretty beautiful because there is a certain amount, like my mom's 70. I'm not going to convince my mom of new things. I'm just going to meet her where she's at and love her because she's going to but she also has to meet me where I'm at. And like, yeah, we disagree on a bunch of shit, but like, it's finding that middle ground, it's a beautiful thing. Like, dude, you got to agree to disagree and approach it with love. Like, I love you. I don't fucking hate you. And just because we don't agree on this thing doesn't mean I'm not going to talk to you ever again. Like,
exactly. That's hard so hard about family is like you care so much for them. You want them to see where you're coming from and believe it. But then a part of growing is that you have to realize they're not going to believe in everything you believe in.
Yeah. And
everybody
that's okay.
can be different. It's okay. Yeah.
And I do support, but I also support like if you need to go no contact because it's like affecting life in a very negative way.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah.
But like exhaust the resources of trying to get to a point where you can just agree to disagree. And this is where I sit on this issue. You sit here and I love you. And as long as these things aren't endangering one another, we're chilling, man. We're good.
Also, non-contact doesn't have to be indefinitely either.
No, I know lots of people that like did it for years. I mean, to be fair, I did it with my dad for years.
Really?
I'm currently doing it with my mom.
Yeah, but it got to him. And his husband had reached out to me before he got sick and passed. That was like, your dad needs you and he understands why you feel the way that he understands why you feel the way you do. And before my dad passed, I spent the last week with him in the hospital. And walking that process with someone, especially someone that you like love so much, where you have such a complicated relationship with, was beautiful. And I got everything that I ever wanted him to say. I got it all. I got everything. And in the end, I tried to like, in the end, I was just like, it's all good, dog, because you're dying and look who's here. Your son. I'm right. I'm next to you. I'm here,
Yeah.
So
After everything.
Some things are just going to take a really long time. We live in such a culture where it's like instant. I got it now. Dating app. I want to fuck that person. I want to post this. I want to take this. But so much of life is going to be the long con. You have to play the long con, like even with this new band that I'm doing is like,
about that.
So let's talk about, because it's really important to me, and not in the way of like, I wanted to, if I'm doing podcasts to like promote anything, I'm not going on music podcasts. I'm going on these kind of things. I can talk about life so for me at the end of Vanna was, and I've done a lot of therapy to unpack all of the things that like, just like how unsafe I was, how I put myself in bad scenarios. I was so broke. I would compromise.
Former fuckboy, dude.
You're reformed.
But like within that reformery is like my lifestyle was actively working against trying to be reformed, you know what I mean? And I'm putting myself on the line. I'm compromising my values and my mental health and my wellness for you to buy my fucking record, right? For you to look at, but we live in a time now, and Vanna's a little bit from the old school, and we stayed up long enough that like I saw a time where the only time you could reach out to a band member is if you were in the show, they were near the merch table, you walked over and shook their hand, took a picture. That's it. Now a band can release a song and a 15-year-old could be like, fucking mid, this band sucks.
Yeah,
like,
totally.
There's 3 years of my fucking life to record that song, you piece of shit.
And it makes sense that you're mad, or that you could like clap back at them in DMs, and then it blows up, and it's like there's so much more room for error now.
If
because
you're
it's instant.
if you're making if you stay shitty, right? And you stay like defending yourself and this, that, and the other thing. That is the image that you've created. So how exhausting is it to like keep living that so your band can grow with fans and money, and then you're at the top and it's like, dude, okay, you're loaded as fuck, you have all these fans, but how empty do you
every
feel?
day you're making a TikTok to defend a rumor that you heard about yourself.
How
Like
exhausting.
that's exhausting as fuck.
How exhausting.
So I worked through all those things. There was also like, the boys are my boys and I love them so much, but there was definitely things that like I'm not going to hold them responsible, but it's definitely things that like, I was hurt by, and or like we all put ourselves in danger, whatever the case may be. So I had to work through like a lot of issues. Joel, my best friend that was in the band, he was dealing with so much shit that he wasn't even able to do the farewell tour. He had to leave and take care of shit. And he got married, he had a kid, like he did a lot of stuff like right away that he needed to step away from the band. And him and I mean, that's my guy. We've been together since he was like 19 years old. We've been writing together. And the end of Vanna was like, I was like, who am I? I'm, like you said, it's Davey Vanna. Like, who am I if I don't have this? Now, luckily at that time, luckily I had like a speaking career, right? So, but it's tied into the band. It's woven into that, right? So instead of getting on stage saying like, I'm in the band, I'm like, I'm a former, whatever, but I'm still like resting on that. It wasn't until like 2020 and, there's a whole industry and the whole like entertainment in general. I was like, yo, I've never been like my friends on tour are like the cooks, the loaders, the sound guys, like the real motherfuckers, right? Have a hard time relating to, I don't know, people in my position. Like when I joined Vanna, I was like, I am not one of these lead singer dudes. Like, I'm not like this. But obviously, now I'm an easy target. I get lumped in and all shit. But I didn't know who I was, and I lost it. So stepping away from everything was wonderful for me. And I was like, I'll never do this again. I will never make heavy music. I will never make music on this like level again. I started like a Western Gothic band with my buddy Andrew, and we still like. I love it. And it's like a whole outlet of this. Like I play this like raspy character cowboy story in my head, right? But I was like, I'm going to do this, and like I'm going to write some solo stuff maybe. But for a long time, I didn't listen to music. I listened to podcasts only, probably like a year and a half. I didn't listen to. So these records that come out, I have no idea. I've removed myself from everything, and I have all these notions of all this stuff. And luckily, like at that time, the scene was kind of dead, anyways. But I was like, I'll never get back into this. And Joel and I started talking. He had a kid, and I went and I was like doing a solo tour, and I met her. She was a potato. And and he's married to like one of my best friends I've known since like high school. So like that, and Kiki's, we're family, right? So Joel's got a kid in his life now, and I'm like, it softens you. It makes you, whatever, Joel is like, he's like a computer. Like if it doesn't make sense, he won't do it. There's no emotion tied to anything, whatever. And then he had a kid. I'm like, dog, you're soft as shit now. Like, you got a kid. But it's beautiful. He had a daughter. Beautiful. It's a beautiful thing for him, right? So me and him, I'm always the emotional guy, and he's always had his own way of showing that to me. But now he's showing me in the same way. We're speaking the same language. So I was so sad to know that he hadn't picked up a guitar in like 7 years. It broke my heart, because this man is like my counterpart to writing music. And it took him, his daughter, seeing like music videos and asking why do you have these guitars? And he sent me a video one day. If he pulled out his like my favorite guitar he owns, and sent me a video of him playing like Stevie Ray Vaughan, and I cried. And I was like, I'm gonna cry now thinking about it. I'm like, dude. Yes. Like you picked up a guitar. This is like 3 years ago.
He was like reignited by his daughter. He was like saved by her, honestly.
He was. Saturday mornings, I'll get a, he still lives in Boston. So like I'll wake up on a Saturday morning to a video of her. He gave her his guitar that his dad gave him, acoustic to Vanna, and they're watching a Vanna video from Warped Tour, and she's walking around doing this, and he's just like videoing, and I'm like, dog, I am crying. Right? So I don't say anything, and like Joel, I did a couple other things after Vanna here and there, like stepped out of the genre, had some really great writing partners every time, but there's just something about like, that's my dog. Like, that's my MF, right? Never said shit. And then he just sends me like this like track comes up on my phone. And I was like, what is
back.
this?
You're
And
like,
he
is this
named
your
it-
will and testament? What is
Are you in the
Yeah.
cave?
He named it Gasp. Like it's almost like that Explosion in the Sky song, First Breath After a Coma. Like to him, that was like, and I listened to it, and
Yeah.
to him it was like he was like he came back to life again. And
That's sick.
I listened to it. I'm getting emotional now. I listened to it so many times and was like, "We are so fucking back, dog. Do you want me to do vocals on this?"
back, dude.
I went home. I got a shitty little rig and I recorded vocals on the like original iPhone headphones on the microphone. And that was 3 years ago. And little by little, like a couple weeks later, he's like, "Yo, send me everything I've missed in music for the last 7 years." So I sent him like a playlist, like boom, he's back in it. Me and him, and not only that, but me and him are like, we're back. Me and him are talking every day. That was 3 years ago. Next Friday, that song he wrote 3 years ago called Gasp comes out.
Fuck yeah,
I
where's it
cannot
gonna
wait
be?
to listen.
It'll be everywhere.
Give
and
us the link, tag us in it. We're gonna
I will.
fucking
Yeah,
I
I'm
will.
obsessed. What are
And-
y'all called now?
Rung, WRUNG, like rungs of a ladder. And
cool.
the way that we look at it is like we have had many rungs of life.
Uh-huh.
And you go up and down those things all the time, but we're always kind of on the ladder. You know, we're always there.
That's sick.
And you to see, and then not only that, but then like Joel, in the interim of that, I played music with other dudes, right? So like I was in a band called Trove for a little while. That was like a rock band or whatever.
Yeah.
I took the drummer of that band and was like, "Yo, you're my dog. You're
Yeah.
listening." And the guitar player of Hematite, Casey, I was like, "Yo, come here. You're gonna play in this
I want
band."
to be in a band. Take me out of the claw machine, please.
You're
What the
in, dude.
fuck?
You're in.
Yeah.
But
We could do
it was this
maracas.
like for everyone else, it'll be a song that goes on the internet and like, "Oh, cool. Davey's screaming. Great. We love it. He's singing. He's doing the whole thing." For me, it's
That's your
a
heart.
culmination of like 7 years of
Yeah,
like
dude.
getting back to, and this band now is like, I don't give a motherfuck if you listen. I don't care.
Yeah.
It's for me.
It
Yeah.
feels good
There
for
was
you.
there was a time that we were like, maybe we just won't even put this out. Like maybe we'll just have it for us, you know? And then I sent it to a couple friends and that I still have in the musical industry. And like a couple of those friends were like, "Whoa, dude, like this is This is crazy.
That's
This is like, it's
awesome.
everything that we wanted to do before that we were kind of like stifled in the like way of like, Vanna is this band. We can't stray way far out.
Yeah.
yeah.
And we've had
this band is
success
like-
here. We can't really change it a lot. Yeah.
So this band is like, and it's awesome because the first note of the song is the last note of the last Vanna song that we ever recorded together.
Oh, dude. I fucking
so
love
like,
that.
so this is like a huge culmination, and I like it's for me, it's for
Yeah.
us. But I started giving it to people, and like lo and behold, it's like my friend who's a booking agent was like, "I'm gonna book your band. You're gonna go play live.
Fuck
I need
yeah.
to see you back on
Fuck
stage again."
yeah,
dog."
dude.
He also was like, "I have a label. I'm gonna put this out for you. Like, is that cool?" And I'm
I
like,
love this
"Yeah,
so
let's
much.
do that." So this is like a really like, it's not redemption because I don't need redemption.
Yeah.
For me, it's like it's just reigniting my love for the thing that saved my life so many times, which
Yeah.
is music. It's and I don't care if it streams well. I don't care if we don't. I have my goals are I just want to put music out in the world and I
Yeah.
want to play in front of I can play
It
in front of
feels
25
so
people
good,
and still
dude.
feel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's going to feel
So, like,
great.
This is a reconnection for me that's like, and now the best part of it to me also is I'm diving back into the music industry.
Yeah.
Worked on, boundaries are up.
Exactly.
I know who I am. I know what I will do. My favorite thing in the entire world as a 40-year-old man is to say the word no.
Yeah. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Not gonna do that. And hey, no hate. I'm not mad. Nothing. Just that's not gonna be for me.
I think that a lot of
Do
people
that.
could exercise that word a lot more.
Absolutely.
You
We
gotta say
should.
no.
That's
You
But
gotta
you
say
also
no.
gotta take the,
That's
you gotta
tricky
take the
over
like.
here.
It's not fuck you know. It's just the like respectfully. Nah, not for me. You know. So I'm entering this world, not a broken. I mean, I joined that band and I was homeless before that. I was in terrible relationships. I was unworked on. I was unmedicated. I was
Yeah.
on everything and barely. Again, my frontal lobe was still so smooth. So like, I entered that. I was a broken, sad boy that was like, "Hey, go on the road and be a role model for 15-year-olds." You're like,
exactly.
"Wait, what? I just wanted to play music. I didn't." But that comes with the territory. So if you want to do this, you're going to also have to accept a little bit of this. And I'm now re-entering it being like, I know what my boundaries are. I know what my morals are. I'm not going to go the same places that I went before, but also I get to reconnect so purely.
Right.
I'm telling you right now, when we play our first show, it's probably going to be in December. When we play that first note, I'm going to have to fight crying.
Dude, I'm
so
sure.
fucking hard.
Yeah.
I'm
so
sure.
fucking hard,
It's
dude.
beautiful though.
Yeah, and I went to Brand New. We were talking about this. Kiki and I just switched off on what song we were crying to and screaming the words. And it was the first time in a long time that I was like, God, music is so fucking therapeutic if you have a pure relationship with. Stop giving a shit about who's in the band, what their lore is, what they're doing, who they're dating. Like, just connect to the music. You know what I mean? Like, and that's why we're seeing a lot of bands that are wearing like masks and stuff like that. And that's direct. It's marketing because it's good, but it's also a direct result of like, I'm not putting my fucking face out there.
What's
dude,
the Brand New lyric? Like, want people to be happy to be where they are with who they're with or whatever.
Whoever they're there
who
with.
they're there with. Like, hello. So, okay, when you came out with Vanna, we all fucking related to that because we all were like fucked up in ourselves, right? And it was relatable. And now we're adults and most of us do our growth or are in our growth, and then your new band's gonna come out with we're gonna fucking relate.
Exactly.
Hopefully.
You're gonna all the songs are there's no anger in them anymore. I'm not angry. I'm like, it takes a lot for me to get angry.
We all grew up together.
And and that's my whole thing is like, I want to share this, not because I want to be popular, not because I lose Instagram followers every day of my life. I don't give a fuck.
Whatever, dude.
It's because I want to do the same thing that I intended to do in Vanna, which is show you me and go, I'm like you, you're like me. We need this energy back and forth to know that we can grow, we can be okay. And now it's like, if you listen to this now and read these lyrics, it's going to be like, yeah, dog, me too. Did it? I feel good now.
I'm this.
I
This is awesome.
Like, I go back and listen to all these Vanna records and I'm like, what an asshole. What a piece of shit. Like, I don't align with anything
what a
I'm
little
saying
jerk
here.
I was. Yeah, like what a little slimy little marmy I was.
I'm like, dude, who the fuck did I think I was, bro?
It feels, I don't know if maybe I was removed from it for a bit and now I'm getting back into it. But I do feel like hardcore music is making a comeback in a way. You know, like with like Turnstile coming out with their new shit.
I was just gonna say, Turnstile lets me know that the kids are gonna be okay. When I see a Turnstile playing their hometown in Baltimore or whatever, and there's 3,000 teenagers with baggy jeans and tank tops on stage diving, I'm like, they're gonna be okay. There's this like pureness. Now, granted, there's toxicity in every single music genre, everywhere you go. But I think that it has come a long way. It's exclusive. It's inclusive. Sorry, it's inclusive now. We're like, you know, like back in the day is like, you know, it's like, you know, my friends, my family have our backs. And it's like, if there's a gay person here, I'm not comfortable with that shit. And now you have non-binary, trans, gay members of bands. You have all of these.
You have all
things.
female
Also, like,
bands.
All women are playing. Dude, my favorite thing in the world is a woman that can shred on a guitar. Bro, you got me.
Mannequin
I'm
Mannequin
soaking.
Pussy, fuck me up.
Yeah.
That band's fucking so rad.
I watched them on Warped Tour, like when we played. Like, I love that shit. So I love that this
Scowl.
is like this new. There's this like new, incredible. Like, I mean, Scowl just reminds me of
Brendan's
No Doubt.
band, Top Down.
Yeah, Top Down. Top Down's got a bitch. That's the
Top
fucking
Down.
singer.
Oh, yeah.
We got a
And
gay
that's the thing
lead
is, like,
singer woman. Grace is the sickest. We love her.
I love it. And that's the thing is like heavy music has had this like, it's had this like toxicity. It's had this like almost like suicide. Like heavy music has killed itself.
Yeah.
And now unalived itself. Sorry. And now there's a healing going on. That's like, yo, don't bring that shit. So like, yes, like there's this like, I don't agree with any of the negative behavior that any men had in the music industry surrounding Warped Tour culture. And all. I don't agree with any of that shit. I'm so glad that is bleeding out. And it's like,
and it happened and we can move on.
It happened, but we have to accept it. And we have to accept that if you were there for it, even if you weren't the toxic person, you were there for it and participating, take some ownership in that. What you were doing was probably fucking stupid. But now we can all like kind of get, at least for me, we can just get back to like, I love music and that's why I'm doing this. And I lost sight of all of that. It became a career. It became of like, I remember when one of our records, like the release got, our tour manager fucked up the numbers of how many we sold. So it didn't get counted in our first week's sales. And I fucking lost my shit and almost quit the band because I'm like, your first week's sales really used to matter a lot, right? Really, really, your first week's streams matter now. But I was like, I'm not going to fucking have a career and all this shit. And I wasn't focusing on how much the fans were connecting with it. And then I got a slap in the face at Warped and they made us play main stage one morning. And I'm pissed off, right? And we just released our new record. We had 2 singles out, and one of them is a song called Digging. And I was mad. I got up there and I'm like pissed off. And we closed with Digging, and I got down in the crowd, and it was like thousands of kids who already knew the words because it was out for like 2 fucking days. I mean, there's videos of me, and I am crying because I'm like, I'm literally like had the microphone, and I'm like, wait, what the fuck is happening?
You're like, who am I to do this?
You're focusing on the wrong thing, dude.
Everyone's like, shut the fuck up, Dave. Look at what's happening.
Yeah.
Look at this. I had a guy in a band that I was on tour with in Europe, and there was these like 1,500 people. We were in like Amsterdam, and there's like 5 dudes that were like, we're opening the tour, big tour, Suicide Silence, Amir, like all these big bands, and we're opening, and there's these like 5 kids in the front that like don't care about us. They're waiting for Suicide Silence. And I'm interacting with them being like, fucking piece of shit, and ignoring the 1,497 people that are going batshit.
Yeah.
I walked off stage, and one of the guys from the lead singer of one of the bands I've known for a really long time, he was like, dude, you're an amazing frontman, but you're doing it wrong. And I was like, what do you mean? He was like, dude, you focused on those 5 guys your whole set instead of seeing how many people were going ape shit. And I was like, oh my God. You do, when you're in these things, you get wrapped up in like, it'd be the same thing as if your podcast like started popping off, taking off, and all of a sudden you're worried about sponsorships and all that stuff. Well, you got to get to the basis of, you guys started this to sit down as best friends and just fucking talk. And maybe people relate to it. So you got to keep your North Star at all times with yourself and keep that inside of you, because you will lose. It's so fucking easy to lose track of something.
Dude, I want to be in a band so fucking bad.
Let's start our own band.
It's fun, man.
I love it. I love being on a stage and yelling into a microphone so much, dude.
We do yell in these.
I've done 2 things in my entire life. When I was in high school, I was in a band, and I did the TV productions class, and I did I'm talking about like camcorder, reel to reel. I had a variety show. I was
so cute.
throwing shows at my high school. I've done 2 things my whole life: creative visual work and music, and that's it. I don't really know how to do anything else. And I worked really fucking hard, and like I'm sitting in my home that I own. I figured out how to make it work. Like I took that dream and I made it real. Period.
Yeah.
Also, I really fucked myself up in the process of doing that and lost sight of what I was really trying to accomplish.
Yeah.
I made myself into a brand, and brands can be canceled, they can be bought out, they can shut down, they can close, and person can't be a fucking brand. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And through this journey back again, through this new music and having a real good support system and like the same amazing friends for the past like decade here has really fortified me, and like I won't lose focus this time. It won't happen to me because my life is so full out here that thing that Vanna, it used to have to validate me even being alive.
Right.
I don't need that anymore.
Yeah.
So it's a bonus for me to go, I love that. If you listen, every time someone's like, oh dude, my coworker like loves Vanna, and I'm like, FaceTime him, I want to talk to him. It means the world to me. I'll never lose that. I'll never lose the fact that like if you stop me, okay, here's a perfect thing. I took a trip during like 2020 after like all the things that happened. I left the industry. My dad died. I took a trip on a plane. I can't remember where I was going. I'm in the shuttle of the airport to go out. I'm seeing this dude is looking at me, and I'm like, you want to fucking oh no. I went home to bury my dad. That's what it was. So I'm in Logan, right? And I'm like, this motherfucker, he comes up to me and he was like, you're Davey from Vanna. And I said, some days I have been. Vanna's broken up at this point.
Yeah.
This dude, I am so low on who I am at this point. Like I am the lowest I've ever been in my adult life on the person that I am right now. And this dude was like, bro, like I can't even describe to you what your band has done. He's my age. He's like a fully an adult. He's like, I can't describe what your band has done for me. And I want to do something for you. And he reaches in his bag and where is it? I have it. He pulls out this. Hold on. He pulls out
Posh.
this. I don't know if you guys have ever read this book, but he pulls out this.
What,
It's called The Alchemist.
Yeah.
Right? And
Good book.
he gives it to me and he says, this is my favorite. And this is his copy. This is his book.
my God.
He's like, this is my favorite book in the world. He's like, you're the alchemist. And if you've never read this, you need to. That dude had, try not to cry on your podcast.
Yeah.
That dude had no fucking clue what I was going through.
Oh my God.
And because I love talking to people about them liking anything I've ever fucking done, because I can't believe one person likes anything I've ever done. That moment changed so much for me in a pivotal time. And I read that book every like 2 months now.
Yeah.
My eyes are watering.
Connecting to fans is, I made myself too accessible to fans, which is a lot of the things of like why like rumors can start and all this other stuff is like, but at the core of it, I love hearing someone say something that you have done helped me, changed me. Thank you. It's not me. It's the art that is like influenced that people. And I always say like, people are like, your band saved my life. I'm like, nah, dog, you saved your life. We just gave you a badass soundtrack to do it. That's it. Like, that's all we did. Right? So connecting with fans and people that like, it's my favorite thing in the world. I can't believe it. So reconnecting, I've been like posting little things about the band and just doing like whatever I want.
Yeah.
Like I released like clips to people that they messaged us on Instagram.
That's exciting.
Well, we're
But
going
I'm
to
getting
put
these,
this
like-
out
I'm
and
getting
people are
these,
going to
like,
relate to this.
Yeah, this is
Right,
awesome.
and
It's so amazing that you're doing this now. Like when you're right on this launching point of this like new project that means so much to you, and that you're
Yeah.
chatting with us about it. It's amazing.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and like
It feels so good.
I'm getting the like, dude, can't wait for this. I don't know if you remember, but in 2000 or whatever, you came to here, and I'm like, oh, good to see you again. I remember totally. Like,
yeah,
so
dude.
I'm not only getting like support, but I'm getting these really positive memories to like be like, dude, remember, I know you went through a lot of trauma with the band, but the universe is like, remember how good a lot of it was. Remember how it fed you emotionally, not just financially, and focus on that going to this. So, like, I'm very excited. Like, I ain't going to be DMing with you in the DMs, but I'm excited that you like my band, come up to me and talk to me. If you see me out anywhere, and like, dude, when that happens to me, and I'm like with my friends, I turn around, they're like, that was nice. I'm like, that was fucking nice. That was amazing.
Yeah.
Feels good. And it's not an ego thing. It just feels good that someone connected with something that I did.
I love
Because that's
that.
kind of like beyond it for me. The other point is to connect with other people and show them that. And the fact that that's happened.
Yeah.
And the fact that I was convinced it would never ever happen again. And it's already happening is like, bro, I have been
That's the whole point.
crying
That's the
like
point.
daily. I've been
I forgot
crying
this was the
fucking
point.
daily. I forgot this is the whole entire point now.
Yeah,
and it
dude.
feels unbelievable to be able to have that in my life again, but not depend on it to like breathe, you know,
Of
like I'm
course.
good. Like, you know, if this band does nothing and just releases some music and we play a couple shows, like that's what I want to do.
I'm
So
stoked
we're all
for
good.
you.
I'm so excited.
I want to, wherever you're fucking playing, I'm going to fly out there and come see you.
We're already working on Texas stuff.
Good. You have to come play an Austin show.
Yes, come play.
Yeah.
I mean, hands down, yeah. I mean, Texas was really big for Vanna. Like, we were constantly there. And like, the
that's
thing is,
sick.
like, so the other part of it, I won't dwell too much on the band stuff as anymore. So when this stuff started like happening and like reaching out and showing people, every person I send it to that has a position of like promoter, agent, whatever, they're like, let me know when you're ready.
Yeah, dude.
I want you here. And that for me is like, that tells me that I did it the way I thought I did it. I did it correctly. I fostered the relationships that I thought I was fostering. A bunch of friendships that I thought were like friendships were just like situational, we're touring together, whatever.
Yeah.
I can't be butthurt that like I've spent 4 weeks with this person in 40 years and not my best friend, but at the time it was important. But I know that I fostered this sense of community.
Yeah.
I'll give you this in not even closing, but I'll give you the stories. My 40th birthday was last year, and my wife and all my best friends took me away to a cabin. And I just said, I want to be in the woods and in beauty, hanging out with people I love the most. And they decided to do, on Saturday night, decided to all sit down at a table and all 20 of them go around the table and talk about what I mean to them and who I am. And I was sitting there and I was like, stop, every single person. But what that did for me is that was a reset point right there. It's like, you guys saying back to me what I am to you is exactly what I was trying to convey that I am. I'm hitting my mark and I'm doing that well now because I've worked on myself. And that was like, I'm back. I'm ready to go.
Yeah, you're
Let's
back.
do
Yeah,
this.
we're fucking back.
It's this new, so it's like, it's powerful to have a good community at your back, but you have to
Absolutely.
you have to believe in yourself and know that like, you got to give yourself grace to be like, I used to be a piece of shit,
Yeah.
but I'm not anymore.
Yep.
I used to have these tendencies, but I'm not. Remember all the work that you've put in, and don't let those emotions blind you to the fact that like, I'm worked on and I can be me. Because for a long time, I just was like not being Dave, and that was weird. And I get to be Dave again, and it just feels really nice.
And it's never too late.
It's
I
never
love
too
it.
late, and we
Never
can
too late.
all like we can see it. And I'm very thankful to, even though we maybe knew of each other, I am so thankful to like get close with you at this point in our lives specifically.
Me too. I think for us, but like true, a lot of people like, you get involved really at the right time in your life. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing. Because
when it's
honestly,
supposed
like,
to happen.
we could have met years ago, and we probably would have hooked up,
It'd
and then
been
we would have
bad,
hated. We would have
dude.
hated
It'd
each
been
other.
bad.
And you probably would have talked shit about each other, online or whatever. Probably not.
Big
But
time.
Yeah.
But now I'm able to have a friendship with you that's like, I'm not going to yes you to death. I'm going to challenge you, but I respect and love the person that you are. You're from where I'm from. We feel, you know what I mean? So like, I'm really glad that we've been able to like, do this now.
No, I
for
fucking
sure.
love it, dude.
I'm obsessed.
Well, do you want to plug where we can find your new band? Any final thought real quick? Anything you'd like to share?
Yeah, so the band's called Run. You can find it everywhere. Next Friday, it'll be streaming. We'll drop our first 2 singles and a music video that I get to make all the visuals for this band. It's beautiful.
That's sick.
But ultimately, I think my closing thing is, I don't know, go to therapy, drink water, touch grass, love your community, love your people, have boundaries, and grow. Like just everyone's doing something and going through something, and like, let's just get each other the space to like do that shit. And also, give yourself the grace to be like, I don't fuck with these people and I can't be around this, because if I'm around this, I'm not going to change. So life is just ever moving and ever growing, and we're learning lessons all the time. And I don't know why we're surprised by them every single time.
Yeah, that's true.
Period.
That's true.
That's what
Period,
it's for.
bitch.
I love that.
Period.
And also, I love your podcast. I think
you.
that
Thank you.
I'm trying to get a bunch of my men friends to listen to it, because it's really important to even like, listen, if men are going to listen to anybody, it's going to be 2 hot women, right? So like,
Thank you.
you're doing the Lord's work out here.
Thank you.
And I'm trying to get more of my, but also you're real and fun. And I
Thank you.
support this podcast so much. It's
Thank
like
you so
everybody has a
much.
motherfucking podcast these days, but this one's really cool.
Thank you.
You guys are very unfiltered about it. I mean, Whitney, you talked about the guy that you were having sex with on the podcast, or your second podcast or
That's what
some
I'm
shit.
talking
You know what I mean? Yeah. So like, I applaud what you guys do and implore you to keep on going, because
Thank
it's fucking
you.
awesome. And also, if you ever want me to come back as just like a commentator, a hot take on something,
Dave,
call me on the phone. I'll answer.
Dude,
Hell yeah.
you're more than welcome. I fucking love and
Your
adore
point of
you,
view
and I'm
is
so thankful.
great. I think we're gonna have like a lot more of these, and just talking about where people have come from. And I think our podcast is attributed to the honesty of our guests.
Yeah.
And
Totally.
Whitney is the driving force of that. They're all people that you set up, so I can't even thank
Well,
you
thanks
enough.
for letting me do that.
Yeah, this is a 6 face. Thank you, Dave.
The most honest to a fault person right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, really though, really.
I fucking love it though. I love it.
Dude,
It's
I
how we
want to
were
come
raised.
out.
We don't know anything else.
Yeah.
Dude, aggressive. I'm raised fucking real aggressive. I want to come out there and see you guys and meet your wife and everything, and get the fuck out of the Texas heat.
I got 4 bedrooms and plenty of room
And
for
a cat.
everybody. So
And a cat.
come on through. And a big old cat.
Yeah. Oh, well, thank you so much for bearing with us while we figure this out. And I love everything you said. So you're
You're the
fucking-
best.
Thank you for having
You're
me.
awesome, dude.
Yeah,
We
thank
love
you guys
you.
for having me.
Listen to
Truly.
Rung
Love you guys.
next week when it comes out. So it's next Friday.
Next Friday.
Okay.
All right. This
New
podcast
Music Fridays.
will maybe come out in a couple weeks. I
Couple
don't know.
weeks. Definitely within the month
That's
of
fine.
June. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
That's great. We'll get a
decide.
resurgence. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Yeah.
We'll get a bunch of hot chicks to go listen to the
Yeah,
band.
That's what I'm
dude.
talking
In fact,
about.
exclusively, we just want chicks listening. Women only. Just listen. Guys, I don't give a shit. Go listen to you find
Whatever.
I don't care.
All right. We love you so much, Dave. Thank you.
Good
Yeah,
job.
of course. Love you guys.
Bye, bye,
Yeah.
bye. We'll see you later.
You have to hang up because we don't know how to.
Okay, ready? And bye.
Oh, he was so cute.
I love him.
Listen to his Muise, listen to Vanna, which I've never listened to
Listen
Vanna.
to Wrong, listen to Vanna.
Yeah.
Dave's fucking incredible. Kiki, his wife, like, come on, bitch.
I want to meet her real
That's
bad.
a real one, motherfucker.
Giving the women a space, we've got to get her on for round 2, I think.
Yeah.
Chat about her life. Follow the razorblade at gmail.com or on Instagram and email him for your audio needs and visual needs.
Yeah, and ngnf.pod. Let's go smoke a fucking pack of cigarettes,
Let's do
bitch.
it.
Bye.